The years after the First World War were chaotic to say the least in Central and Eastern Europe. As old empires crumbled, new nations emerged. There were wars of independence, civil wars. The Bolsheviks, they marched west, setting up puppet states as they liked. And one of these puppet states was the LitBel, the Soviet Socialist Republic of Lithuania and Belarus. That's right, Lenin decided to merge Lithuania and Belarus. Why? In this video, you're going to learn everything you need to know about the short-lived LitBel. Good to have you back on the channel. If you're new, I'm Stefan, I'm a Dutch history teacher and I love to cover these niche historical topics as I'm overlooking Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. If you find this content interesting, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you can also support me financially via Patreon, PayPal, via Super Thanks, or via Buy Me a Coffee. So the LitBel was a merge of the Soviet Socialist Republic of Lithuania and the Soviet Socialist Republic of Belarus. But why were these two merged? Let's discuss some background first. After the October Revolution of 1917, the Bolsheviks declared independence for all former nations of the Russian Empire. However, their aim of expanding their influence and promoting world revolution led to conflicts with newly established countries such as Finland, Poland, Ukraine and the Baltic states. Following World War I and the retreat of the German army, late 1918, Poland, led by Józef Piłsudski, became the greatest threat to the Bolsheviks in the West. Piłsudski, he wanted to recreate the Polish Commonwealth and therefore reclaiming parts of Lithuania, Belarus and Ukraine to prepare for potential conflicts in their Western Front and to demonstrate the ability of nations from the former Russian Empire to create their own states. The Bolsheviks established several Soviet puppet states, including Belarus and Lithuania, to merely act as a buffer zone. These republics were created near the end of 1918, early 1919. They were temporary and under Moscow's direct control. From the outset, the goal was to unite Lithuania and Belarus into a single Soviet state to counteract nationalism and strengthen resistance to Poland. The struggle for control over Lithuania and Belarus quickly escalated. On the 1st of January 1919, the Polish troops captured Vilnius, but shortly after, the Reds captured the city. They made it the capital of Soviet Lithuania, but do notice this was not a Soviet, a council. No, it was a Bolshevik party regime that was established in Lithuania. It did not reflect the interest of the Lithuanian people and functioned as a springboard for possible revolutions in Poland and Germany, and also it functioned as a buffer against nationalist forces in Poland. On January 16, 1919, the Central Committee of the Russian Communist Party decided to annex parts of Belarus to Soviet Russia against the wishes of the Belarusian government. The unification of Lithuania and Belarus was officially declared at the Congress in February 1919, and on February 27th, the creation of the Socialist Soviet Republic of Lithuania and Belorussia, in short LitBel, was finalized in Vilnius. Kazimierz Tchaikovsky was elected to head the republic, with Vincas Mickevičius Kapsukas heading the government. Its leading military figure was a remarkable Armenian, Alexander Myasnikov. The Lithuanian SSR and the LitBel had been a particularly thorough and painful political experiment. They turned Vilnius into a laboratory of social pharmacology where the full range of communist panics were tested out on the luckless inhabitants. In the space of 3 months, they issued a whole codex of decrees for the limitation of property, for the mobilization of communists, for forced requisitioning, for the shooting of criminal and counter-revolutionary elements, for the nationalization of factories, for military conscription, etc. The Bolsheviks declared 5 official languages in the LitBel: Lithuanian, Belarusian, Russian, Polish, and Yiddish. But barely anyone spoke all the 5 languages, so as a result, the lingua franca became Russian, which was used for official documents and for the government. The workers' councils that were made of people with different ideologies, they were abolished and replaced by Bolshevik-dominated workers' councils. The Red Army units that were sent from Russia to the area were poorly equipped and they lived off the land. Food, horses and clothing was requisitioned. Local peasants, they saw this as robbery. A lot of food was shipped to Russia, but there were already a lot of food shortages in the area caused by the previous war. And as for the redistribution of land, well, nothing came of it. And most of the Lithuanians were hostile towards the Red Army and did not support them. And the Bolsheviks, they were hesitant to forcibly recruit Lithuanian peasants out of fear that they might join the Lithuanian nationalist army. As the Polish army advanced towards Vilnius in April 1919, the government of the Socialist Soviet Republic of Lithuania and Belorussia struggled to maintain control. Local Polish support for the advancing forces contributed to the fall of the city, forcing the LitBel government to evacuate to Dvinsk and later to Minsk. And the communist forces were not able to recapture Vilnius and morale declined. In May 1919, with Polish forces advancing on Minsk, the LitBel government withdrew to Bolshevik. The LitBel Republic faced several severe challenges, uprisings within their fluctuating borders, and the Polish army taking territory from them. By mid-1919, the LitBel government had relinquished most of its claims. On July 19, 1919, the LitBel government was replaced by the Minsk Governorate Revolutionary Committee. The situation continued to deteriorate, and by August 1919, the Polish forces had captured Minsk. In 1920, after the Soviets retook some of the Belarusian territories, the Belarusian Soviet Republic was re-established. The Peace Treaty of Riga, 1921, finalized the borders, leaving a part of Belarus under Polish control. Also, Vilnius and its surrounding areas would become part of the Second Polish Republic. Happily for the Lithuanians, the Bolshevik forces were driven out by the late summer of 1919. The Bolsheviks' failure was not simply the result of military defeat or partisan warfare. Their basic weakness was a complete inability to convert the Lithuanian population to communism. If there was a dominant ideology in Lithuania after the war, it was nationalism, not communism. So what did the Bolsheviks want to achieve with the LitBel? Different historians have different opinions. Some claim the Union was a mere device of Soviet expansionism after the Germans had left the region. Another historian claims that the LitBel was an attempt to satisfy different factions: the separatists, promoters of a Lithuanian Belarusian state, and federalists. One view says it was to deter Polish aggression. A Soviet source claims the following: defense of Soviet power from internal and external counter-revolution, while also taking into account the historically developed economic and political community of the Lithuanian and Belarusian peoples. And to be frank, the Lithuanians and the Belarusians did have things in common. After all, they had a common historical and cultural background for living for hundreds of years in the former Duchy of Lithuania. It is possible that even those communists who supported the creation of the LitBel had half an eye on Poland, hoping to entice the Poles with a Soviet version of the confederation between the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and the Kingdom of Poland. At the same time, the merger solved a problem for the proponents of the ethnographic territorial principle, in that the ethnically complex Vilna district did not have to be divided between the two peoples. The LitBel remains something of an enigma, however. I did make other episodes about short-lived and even one about a non-existent Soviet Republic. Click here to learn about the Galician Soviet Republic and hear about the proposed Polish Soviet Republic. Thanks for watching and best wishes from Vilnius, Lithuania.